Jai Ma Kamakhya, Jai Matara, Jai Bhairava. Today's video is not directly linked to any sadhana, but more of a kind of a message in the context of quite a few emails that I received and my team also received. So, uh, in the light of the political developments that have happened very recently in Bengal and in few other states, we have had many people writing to us that this was like a uh, stamp of approval of the sadhana that they're doing, of the collective sadhana, the Vishesh sadhanas, because we do it with the larger aim of dharma rakshana. So therefore, there are a lot of people who have kind of connected all this to the political developments that have happened, and therefore more like as a congratulations or as a uh, something that inspires them, as an acknowledgement of what ideas based on which they're doing sadhana for the uplift of dharma and the protection of dharma has in their minds been fulfilled because of these. So there are quite a few emails that have come. It's perfectly fine if you believe that. I have no objection to it. I have no objection to any beliefs. I will tell you what the way I look at it. So when I say that you should do sadhana for the uh, with the sankalpa of protection of dharma, and in fact, the Kamakhya Bhairav Kula specifically does this among all other uh, things that anybody else or any other organization or foundation does. We do the Bhairava sadhanas for the last few years on Ashtami Tithis with the sole purpose of protection of dharma. And not only the Bhairava japas that are done by people, but also we do various abhishekams of Bhairava across India in many temples with the sankalpa that let it be done so that Lord Bhairava awakens and protects dharma from whoever is the shatru of dharma. Remember that when we mention the sankalpa, we do not specify that protect us from this political party, this turn of events, that turn of events. No, we don't specify that. We leave that judgment to the deity. We do not make that judgment on our own. There's a good reason for it. We live in times where there is no clear dharmic political party, not one. Everybody, even the best ones, which appear to be dharmic, when you dig deeper, you will find things that are completely adharmic. And we have a very uh, narrative driven understanding of dharma. So XYZ does these things to protect us, so they are protecting Hindus, something like that. But dharma is not just about setting narratives and about doing political moves, but it is also about maintaining a certain degree of decorum, discipline, and adherence to the practices that make dharma suitable. It's very important to understand that. If you're not following the practices of dharma, which means if you're not following the upasana of the devatas, encouraging the upasana of the devatas, going ahead and maintaining the upasana of the devatas, and ensuring that wherever such is supposed to happen in a specific manner, it is being done in that manner, that is also an integral part of the protection of dharma. So dharma is not one thing but many things taken together, which creates an environment that helps in a way, let's say, that the outgrowth or the natural development of positivity. Which is why the way I see it is that I and the people who do these sadhanas with sankalpa are worshipping the deity, and let the deity decide what is best. So if the deity in his wisdom, and that is only for Bhairava, I mean, we also do Vishesh sadhanas of Tara and of Durga and Kartikeya as well. But the Bhairava Vishesh sadhanas are the one which has the maximum participation from people. And the japas for the last few Vishesh sadhanas have gone more than 1 crore japas, and that is apart from the number of sevas and the temples and the abhishekams that we do across India. So the idea is, as Bhairava awakens, he knows what is best for dharma. He knows who has to be placed where. He knows which individual rises, who falls. or what may seem to be rising now may or may not last for a long time. It's his wisdom and his discretion to decide what is best and what is not. Human judgment, human discretion is always biased. And I say this not just for ordinary people, even for spiritual people. I mean, a lot of spiritual people I've met, and pretty much everybody has their own biases. There is always some gray shades somewhere or the other. The one quality that you develop when you keep worshipping Bhairava is the ability to see truth as it is, acceptance of truth without fighting it, without trying to fit it into some biased narrative that runs in your head. If you are able to do that, then you are coming close to Bhairava. You are coming close to the reality that governs the underlying structure of the universe, which is Bhairava. So that Bhairava we are worshipping with the sankalpa that let him do what is best so that dharma is protected. And in order to protect dharma, whichever party has to come where, who has to rise, who has to fall, or who has risen now and may fall later, it is his domain. The bottom line of my statement is that do not attach yourself emotionally to any individual, organization, political entity, specifically political entity, because we live in very corrupted times. What seems perfect right now may suddenly turn completely imperfect, and then and it can cause you a lot of emotional disturbance. So, better than all this is to focus on the Devata, worship the deity, ask him or her to do what is best for Dharma. And accordingly, as his or her energy awakens in this plane, more and more people get activated, and more and more people get tuned into the energy of the deity. There is going to be a very clear upsurge of the Tattwa of the Devata, specifically in this case Bhairava, who organically takes up the role of Kshetrapala. He is the protector both in the physical sense and the spiritual sense. And he ensures that the whole landmass, the people, the practices that we do are completely protected from any visible and invisible forces, because a lot of the attacks that happen on dharma are often by asuric beings and forces which we cannot directly see. And the asuric forces have the capacity to control the minds and the lives of human beings, of uh, specific people who have the propensity to be controlled by them and then act in certain manners. I do get emails from people who belong to all kinds of political parties. In fact, I might even say that uh, perhaps there is no major political party in India who has not, at some point or the other, send emails. Members of them, and I mean not just ordinary members, but high-ranking people have come into contact. Though I personally have no interest in this, I'm very happy with my sadhanas, and in inspiring more and more people to do sadhana of the deities whom I love, because that is how you create a base. And using this base, then the Bhairava temples are going to come up, which are so this is a very crucial year for the development of those temples. There are at least 3 or 4 of them we are working on right now simultaneously, but I will only mention the details once things become absolutely legally and otherwise completely perfectly concretized. Only then I will mention that, but I will not make a statement right now until it is fully and firmly done. But yeah, there are at least 4 different places where our team is, a group of people under KBUF is working for the temple developments. So at the end of the day, important thing is to awaken the tattva of the deity, have focus on the deity, and let the devata do what is best for the long-term growth, development, sustenance of dharma. And for that, whoever has to be rejected, whoever has to be uplifted, it is his prerogative, it is his domain to see that such is being done. See, there are 2 aspects. Again, coming back to a point that I just mentioned, 2 aspects of dharma. One is that a dharma where an individual acts as a center of focus for a certain historical development at a certain point in time. Some historical event is happening where an individual may act as a conduit or a channel for a particular Shakti to operate at a certain plane and get certain things done. This individual may or may not be spiritual. This individual may or may not be an Upasak, but he or she will have that Tattva by which he or she can imbibe to a degree inspirations, prerana from that Shakti who wants to use that individual to get something done. This happens very often in uh, during key moments in the development of history, of nations, of races, etc. On the other hand, if the adhara of that individual is weak or is corrupted, or in many cases, suppose an individual is brought to a position of power and then power itself corrupts the individual, so they are not able to handle the the benefits, or how should I put it, the things that are brought to one's usage when he or she is put into a position of power and authority. If there is an inner corruption, so power, we have heard the term that power corrupts people. Actually, power does not corrupt people, it reveals people. If there are weaknesses inside, power is going to amplify those weaknesses, and slowly that individual will turn either into a dictator or a fool, or sometimes both. Power only reveals that which is already there. And when that case happens, then automatically, eventually, there's a downfall that is guaranteed to happen. So, this is how the world is governed by forces at all times. So, two things. One is the external activation of events, of happenings that are going on, in which there are various people who act as mediums, and very often these people may not be aware that they are acting as a medium of such and such forces. And even for upasakas, until one has the discrimination ability, which comes into the mind only through the worship of their Ishtadevata, whoever it is, until the Ishtadevata allows the mind to open up, he, an average individual will not be able to figure out that what are the forces operating behind a certain, individual with certain some amount of power or influence or authority in the real world. And the second aspect of it is that the inner development of the individual. So if the inner development of the individual has not happened properly, or if there are corruptions already present inside, those also get magnified, and they neutralize any benefits that may have happened by their external activity, leading to their downfall. So this is a common phenomenon that happens across the world, specifically at times when there is when we are at a stage where there is a change and transformation going on. And that is exactly how we are right now in this particular year in 2026. For the next 1-2 years as well, consider that a lot of changes will happen. Things that one did not have imagined, for example, will also happen. We already have the Rahu Ketu axis passing through uh, Kumbha and Leo, Simha Rashi, and they have their own uh, intricacies. By the end of this year, in fact, from the beginning of this year till the end of this year, there are a lot of people with exceptional amount of powers who will be dethroned, surprisingly, which they may not be expecting it, and it will come as a shock to their system. So again, coming back to the bottom line, I don't want to name any individual nor any kind of political party or this or that. All that is irrelevant. The whole point I want to make is that keep your focus only on the Devata that you are worshipping, and let him or her, as you participate in the Vishesh Sadhanas, let him or her decide what is the best course of action to be taken, what is the right change that has to be effected in order that Dharma survives. Dharma is the most important thing. If Dharma survives, then this land survives. And this is the first principle that Sri Aurobindo had mentioned in his speech in Uttarpara, that Dharma is the basis of this country. Dharma is the basis, is the culmination of 5,000-6,000 years of civilization in this land, and it cannot be wiped out, neither can it be ignored. Any force, political, cultural, anything that ignores Dharma, that tries to belittle Dharma, will always face a backlash. That much is certain. That is guaranteed. That's like a guarantee that the divine gives, a protection that the divine gives to this land. Even if there are asuric forces that try to belittle Dharma, that try to, work against dharma, cause disruption to dharma, weaken dharma, still things will come back into a certain normal, and there will be protective forces that will get activated so that eventually dharma is protected in this land. This is an absolute guarantee. But having said that, follow the principle, follow the deity. Do not have exorbitant amount of emotional attachment to any individual, whether it's a political leader, a political party, or anything of that sort, because we live in an age where it's not a fight between Rama and Ravana, it is a fight between various degrees of Ravana. It's a fight between various degrees of corruption. And if you are specifically emotionally charged people, which many people are these days, and that's another epidemic, people without control of their own emotions. So very easily they attach themselves to this political party or that political party and believe that this is the right thing to do. Problem with being highly emotional is that they can see only one track vision of reality and block themselves to the other aspects of reality. But reality is way more complicated than this. So therefore, it's better to participate in all the sadhanas that you do, specifically in the Vishesh sadhanas, with even more zeal, with even more strength, with even more dedication, and let Bhairava, let Tara, let Kamakhya, let Kartikeya decide who is the right individual, who is the right force, who is the right cultural alignment, what changes in the physical plane are needed so that Dharma survives for a very long period of time. With this, I'll end the video here. Jai Ma Kamakhya, Jai Ma Tara, Jai Bhairava.